This video contains spoilers for some encounters from later in the game, but I've concocted the least dexterous dexterity build possible, and I had to talk about it. A witless build with neither subtlety nor intricacy, designed purely around a dogged pursuit of big numbers. I took two big swords, pumped my dexterity stats sky high for scaling, slapped on a talisman that boosts jump attacks, and got to slamming. My jump attacks do damage. Regular enemies throughout the game stood absolutely no chance. If they didn't perish to a singular swift slam, then they would die to a stiff breeze afterward. Even if an enemy had a beefy health pool, if they didn't have the high amount of poise necessary to brick wall two massive curvy swords, carving their torso into three, then they would get damn near stun locked into a death combo, like a roach getting beaten to death by a broom. I also have a dagger with insane crit damage that scales with dexterity, my damage stat, for when my jump attacks stagger bosses or for when I get backstabs. Of course, I had to consider defense for the bosses of the game. Instead of trying to build up the tower wall that is the endurance stat requirement needed to effectively roll with two fancy steel girders in my hands weighing me down, I decided to just not roll at all. Bloodhound step means that as long as I have FP, I have a dodge far stronger than any roll. It's not like I need that FP for magic or anything else, not on this build. Without needing to worry as much about weight, I can heave on some heavier, cooler looking gear. Plus, Bloodhound Step means my weapon can scale better with dexterity, which is the stat I've been pumping anyway. This build isn't a free win, and it's not super clever, but it's damn effective and damn fun. Between the drool-inducing damage output and Bloodhound Step allowing for more lenient evasion windows against attacks, bosses have something to fear when they see two fancy oversized slabs of metal come toddling and waddling into the arena in the hands of a well-fortified edgelord. Meter management is a bit of a snagging point here though, since I use FP to dodge and massive amounts of stamina get depleted with every jump attack. It's for a good cause though. I'm just gonna run through some of the more notable bosses I've run over with this build. Boss spoilers coming up. Even the almighty Crucible Knight can't carry a trash teammate. Misbegotten Warrior just can't keep up with Crucible Knight, who actually blocks my attacks and makes it difficult for me with this build. If Crucible Knight really wants to beat me, he's gonna need a better teammate. Something like... Radon before the nerfs, dead without using any summons. Morgott, dead first try. Moog, relatively tough all things considered. He still died pretty quickly though. Speaking of duel, the Godskin duo. I found this fight to be pretty funny, what with how quickly the freshly produced Godskins got deleted. It was like a printer that fed directly into a shredder. Here, for example, right after the big boy bites the dust, we pan over to Waluigi, who was in shock as an edgelord smeared his homie's lard all over the stone floor with two massive beat sticks. That must be terrifying. Honestly, this boss was less like Godskin Duo and more like Godskin Duel, because I ripped these chumps apart with the ease of taking a Lego man and peeling his limbs off. The factory couldn't produce Godskins quick enough to keep up with the demand. This build did face its share of struggles though. Rykard had me briefly return to, ironically, a more normal way of playing Elden Ring, since I actually had to roll through attacks again. At least until the second phase. Listen, Rykard's stupid Emperor Palpatine voice was pissing me off, okay? I just wanted to get the fight over with so I could return to my beloved Bash build, so I put some cheese on my snake meat sandwich. Watching my friend fight it for the first time was pretty funny though. I think this is where shit gets real. I suggest you run. He's not the problem.
What the fucking shit is this? Bro, holy fuck.
The gravity boss was also pretty strong. I hear him, I don't see him. I'm scared that I'm gonna...
Dude, you're fucking
I see him.
me, man.
He's like camping the ladder, bro. What the... Hello? Is it safe?
It's safe enough.
I'm... Fire Giant was also a struggle. I can't even really point to concrete reasons why. I just died to this guy more than I felt I should. Malekith proved annoyingly squirrely and evasive for this build. It was like trying to swat a fly out of the air. Stop moving, damn it! Which is a bit bizarre to say considering this dude is at least 6 times my size, but whatever. I ended up losing patience and going for trades, going hit for hit against the beast, which would normally be a stupid idea. However, on this build, I put out boss level damage with each hit, so when the dust settled, I had bruises and some massive gashes marring the landscape of my chest, broken bones here and there, but in return, Malekith was 50% more dead than I was, which meant he was just dead. A win is a win. I employed a similar strategy against Warrior Man, just 2 beefy dudes going at it. Don't take that out of context. Before I get to the final boss, of course, I have to talk about Malenia, whatever. Beating her took me about 40 minutes worth of attempts, which I think is pretty decent considering this is my first playthrough. This build worked really well for this fight, I think. Bloodhound stepping through her Grand Flurry was pretty consistent, but cost a fair bit of FP in a fight that already had me dodging around like a madman. My damage was good, but her damage was better. And she stole health with every attack that landed, so I had to play pretty conservatively. There were a few attacks that were noticeably punishable, and wildly lashing out with a jump attack every now and then as she Chad walked in seemed to be pretty safe. On my final attempt, I had completely run out of 3 flasks worth of FP and had no way of dodging her attacks besides a pathetic fat roll, as both her health and mine gradually depleted to 0. My health flasks were running out. I really wanted to be done with this boss fight here and now. I had to take a risk because if she struck first and used certain attacks, I wouldn't be able to dodge. One last bait. By running into her range and running out would give me time enough to heal, and then I would move to end it all. Run. Made that. Oh! I really wish I had someone to celebrate that one with when it happened. Malenia is a cool boss, but I wish she would try that shit on me in Stranger of Paradise. That Grand Flurry would get gobbled up by Soul Shield like a turkey at Thanksgiving dinner. Lastly, the final boss. Radagon was pretty straightforward, dodge attacks, then smash. Elden Beast was a bit more stressful. How long does this shit last? Ah! Whoa, hey buddy, whoa. One more. What is he doing? Just fucking run up and kill him! But Bloodhound Step would still be enough to cover my ass because every attack was easy to react to and dodge with the massive amount of invincibility frames Bloodhound Step has, even if I had never seen the attack before. That was like my second attempt, and my first attempt, I didn't actually see what the boss was capable of because I died so quickly. Thank you, Bloodhound Step. So I love this build, but, and spoilers for an ending coming up here, so just close the video if you're avoiding that. In the end, I can't help but feel sorry for Ranni here. She's gonna spend the next 1,000 years or whatever with a consort that is essentially a caveman with a top hat.